Hello everyone! My son recently graduated from the same university that I graduated from many years ago. And these days it's popular for high school and college graduates to decorate their caps. I have a friend whose daughter is graduating from high school and they gave me her cap to decorate in her school colors. So here's her cap. It's in green and they gave me these vinyl letters to put on the cap and they wanted me to paint a mandala in the center. So I did some testing first. I tested some paints on some fabric to make sure it would work, and I made sure I knew the front from the back of the hat. And first thing I did was put the vinyl letters on. I used my crochet hook, the back side of it, to kind of rub those letters on there and carefully peel them off. Then I put a few guidelines in the center of the hat, just very lightly with some ballpoint pen to give me an idea of how I wanted to turn this mandala. Then I covered up those letters with a little bit of wax paper. I knew I would be resting my hand on the edge of the hat as I was using the dotting tools, and I didn't want to smudge the letters. So I combined some paints, some satin acrylics with some pearl or metallic acrylics to make them nice and thick for this project. My first row of paint's going on the guidelines, and I'm putting 16 dots around the button of the hat. Then I did a second row in the same color, and now I'm doing a third row in a little lighter shade of green. And then a fourth row. You can see the colors of the crochet hooks as I'm dotting here, so you'll know which sizes I'm using. Now I'm moving to an even lighter green. You can see the paint is standing up on there the way I want it to. And now to a white. And then a row of yellow. Their school colors are green, white, and gold. Now I'm going back to white again with one of my larger tools. And I'm going to start to make a diamond pattern because the hat is worn as a diamond with the point in the front and the point in the back. So I'm going to put some yellow around that, walking those dots back to the center of the mandala. And then a lighter shade of gold. I'm going to walk those dots around the yellow. It was a little difficult painting on the fabric. It didn't behave like a rock and it didn't behave like a canvas. It kept kind of pulling on the paint, and then it would kind of bleed out at the edges. I ended up actually spraying some waterproofing spray on the hat before I started painting, and that helped the paint stand up a little bit. Now I'm using a lighter shade of green, filling in between the yellow dots on that row. Now that I have my yellow diamond, I'm going to be working on a different color diamond on the other 4 points, starting with this green triad. Walk those green dots around there. And then instead of going darker green right there, I decided to go with white. I thought the hat needed a little bit more white on it. It was a careful balance of trying to get the school colors in there, but not making the hat so awfully busy that you really didn't notice the words of the script writing. I wanted venture in the great wide somewhere. So now that I'm getting to the edge of my design, I moved the wax paper off, and I'm very carefully putting those dots right in their spaces as close to the writing as I can get. Now I'm going back with the darker metallic green and just putting in 3 dots in between the points of the diamond. Each dot is larger as I'm working my way out. Now the corners of the hat needed a little bit of something. So I measured with my finger just 1 knuckle from the edge and put a white dot there. And then I'm going to put 2 yellow gold dots on the top and 2 on the bottom, both the same size. And then I'm going to use a larger tool on the outside edge and a smaller tool at the point. There's the larger tool. And then my littlest tool to make the final point. And this just gives me a little bit of a decoration on the corner of the hat. And I'll do this on the opposite side as well, same thing. Again, using my knuckle to measure out. 2 dots at the top, 2 dots at the bottom. And then the 3rd smaller dot, and then the larger dots on the sides. And then on the opposite corners of the hat, I didn't want to do the same design. I wanted it to be a little bit simpler since it was going to be right underneath the writing. So I just decided to do just a little bit of a corner flourish here in the gold. Now that the design has dried, I'm doing a few top dots in my white pearl paint because this Martha Stewart white pearl tends to stand up like a little button and it gives it a real 3D effect. So I'm just doing a few top dots just to give the mandala a little bit more interest visually before I start putting my crystals on. You can see how it gives it a lot more depth. I mixed the Martha Stewart pearl with just a tiny bit of green, and I'm adding a few green top dots as well. Now it's time for the sparkles. This was so exciting because the girl I'm making this for is a cheerleader and she loves her sparkles. So I decided to do a gold ring all around the center, almost like a crown, because she is a princess. I'm going to put those beautiful yellow Swarovski crystals all around the exterior of that gold ring. And I'm going back on the inside with a dark emerald. And then I like to give each one a little bit of a tap to make sure that they're really set down into the tacky glue. Oh, I just can't wait to give this to her. She's going to look beautiful. So decorate your own graduation caps.